want to dive into your story, your background a little bit, because it is a compelling one. You got your coaching start at Heritage Christian Academy in Texas and coached there for a decade before Scott Drew hired you at Baylor. When you were coaching at Heritage Christian Academy, did you ever think that, man, I really think there's a chance I make this jump? I mean, what did you think the future was like for Jerome Tang in the mid '90s when you're at Heritage Christian?
Well, Heritage Christian was my dream job. Okay. I wanted to be the youth pastor at a church that had a Christian school so I can coach the basketball team. And actually 2 days after I verbalized that to the guy who was my mentor, Mike Allard, Dr. Cooper called him looking for a basketball coach. And in less than a year, I was the youth pastor at the church as well as the basketball coach. They had a Christian school, and so I was living a dream. Our second year, we played for the state championship, and the semifinals and the finals were held at Baylor University. And so sitting on the bench at Baylor, I remember turning to my best friend, who was my assistant, Torrance Hicks, and I said to him, man, this is a really cool place. Wouldn't it be cool to coach here? And I told him, I said, well, I'm a coach here one day. And 10 years later, I'm an assistant at Baylor University. And so, God birthed the vision in my heart, and until he brought it to fruition, there was a lot of work that was put in, and I loved my time at Heritage. Wouldn't trade it for the world, and really prepared me for what we had to do at Baylor. And then obviously Baylor has prepared me for what we're going to accomplish here at Kansas State. Absolutely.
And so a decade or so at Heritage, and then you go to Baylor in 2003 with Scott Drew, and at that time, Baylor was mired in some scandal and hadn't been to the tournament in maybe 15 years. Can you explain how you and Coach Drew and the rest of your coaching staff elevated Baylor from a team that maybe wasn't seen as a perennial contender to a perennial contender and a national champion?
Yeah, well, they actually hadn't been to the tournament in 20 years.
Okay, 20 years.
And so, our thing was that it was a wonderful place, private Christian university with a lot of talent within 3 hours of them, and so we just had to find kids that fit our niche and what we were about. And there was never a time when I feel like we didn't think we could accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. I remember one of my very first phone calls was to Tweety Carter, who's now on staff at Baylor. He was the first McDonald's All-American to sign at Baylor. And I remember telling him, standing on the court at Texas Tech less than 60 minutes before tip, and I'm on the phone with him. I'm telling him, hey, Tweety, one day you're going to be here at Baylor, and we're going to be on the road, and we're going to be ranked number 1 in the country, and this place is going to be packed because they're going to want to see us. And then I remember the first time we got ranked number 1 in the country, and we're at West Virginia, and it was just like, wow. I remember saying this all these years ago. It was 2017. It was the first time we ranked number 1 in the country, and just watching it all come to pass. So having a big vision and just working really hard and believing that hard work always pays off, that was the thing about our staff. We were just together with a common vision that we could turn Baylor into something really special, and with the grace of God and his blessing on our lives, we were able to.
And now, obviously, a kind of a culmination of that was the national championship you guys won. And I know that at K-State we all aspire to win a national championship here someday. Can you explain what that national championship season was like?
It was unbelievable. But the best part of it is, like, I don't look back on it, and some people achieve what they think is the pinnacle in their career, and then they don't feel fulfilled by it because they were looking for that thing to fulfill them. Well, my life was already fulfilled because of my relationship with Jesus Christ and the ministry that he gave me to pour into young men's lives. And so I was a fulfilled man. I was happy as a husband. I felt I was doing a good job with my wife, great kids. I was fine. So that was really like icing on the cake kind of thing. And so I can think back on it very fondly of all the great times we had together with the players. And even though it was COVID and all the other craziness that was going on across the world, it was just a wonderful time of relationship building with those players and with our staff. And every time I think about it, I smile. And I know that we're going to accomplish that here at Kansas State. And it won't be the trophy or the winning the game that's going to be the great thing. It's going to be about all the relationships and all the wonderful experiences that we're going to have together, and the joy that we're going to give our fan base, that they will be able to think back very fondly every time they think about it, about the wonderful people that helped accomplish that.
Absolutely. And I think in less than 2 years, we've seen so much of that already. I mean, last year, I think a lot of us were, fulfilled by the Elite Eight run. I know we didn't get to the pinnacle, but a lot of really joyful moments in the season last year. During your 19 or so years at Baylor, did you ever second guess whether you were ever going to get your chance, or did you always know that chance was coming?
No, there was a time when I was like, man, maybe this won't ever happen. And then I came to a point in my life where I said, God, if you want me to be an assistant for the rest of my life, I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with who I am as a man and the ministry that you've given me here. And if you want me to stop coaching and go into some other form of ministry, I'm okay with that too. And when I was able to verbalize that and really mean it on the inside, I felt like something changed. And God, in his wisdom and timing, opened it at the right place at the right time.
And so I guess a two-part question here. Did other opportunities arise before K-State, and what ultimately made K-State the right fit for you and for your family?
There was really no opportunity that ever arose before K-State, right? And God closed the doors on them. And, it's not good for your ego when people tell you no, right? But you learn so much about yourself. Like, is this really about ministry? Is this really about serving people, or is this about my own ego? And so what made me pick K-State is Gene Taylor said, I want you, right? Like if Gene Taylor had said, no, I'd been back at Baylor. You know what I mean? So Reem always makes a joke with Gene that he's the smartest guy in the room because he was smart enough to hire me, the coach. But I think we can look across our campus and see what a smart guy Gene is because of all the great hires he's made.